right. Welcome to another Pocket Parlay podcast. I'm your host, Will Maynard, joined by my two favorite co-hosts, Mr. Ryan Head and Mr. Zachary Mishik. How are we doing today?
Feeling good. It's been an
Monday,
exciting
Sunday.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday, fun day. The start of what pre-agency is what they call in the NFL, which is really just free agency.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
dumb.
So they're not technically allowed to talk to them, but like the deals go in as soon as it happens. Like
Well,
they've been.
Right.
I think today was the deadline where they are technically allowed to talk to him, but they've probably been having discussions for weeks now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tampering. Like that's all
Yeah,
I
I think they
hear.
just officially signed on Wednesday.
Crazy.
Honestly, I think it kind of snuck up on me. I've been so focused on NBA and March Madness. I got College
Yeah.
of Charleston and Towson on one of my computer monitors right now, getting my scouting in for my bracket.
I haven't
Jeez.
started mine yet. Have you made yours yet, Maynard?
Well, no, because it doesn't come out till Sunday.
Oh, it doesn't. I thought people were
No,
already making them.
no. I mean, they're like
Oh, okay.
predictions, but Selection Sunday will be this Sunday, and then tournament starts, I think, Wednesday and Thursday are the first four in games, and then Thursday, Friday are the big boy days. I took off work for both of those days, so I can just sit at home and just watch.
Yeah,
This,
I'm just obviously not as much into March Madness as you guys are probably.
I have not watched. I've maybe watched 3 games of college basketball this year.
Yeah.
I have not kept up with it. So our expert is going to be William on the pod.
Well, if you watch this podcast and you follow our Twitter, fun fact: our highest grossing sport is college basketball, betting wise. So just
So we have our expert analyst in the building
that's
making all the
right.
picks.
I live and breathe for college basketball.
Baby shark,
All right.
baby shark.
But what we're going to talk about, one second. We are going to talk about some of these NFL free agency signings. I
Your
want to talk
back
about,
your background is not great. We need to
dude,
spice that up a little bit.
shut up. All right. I'm going to move in a couple months and I'll work on that. But right now,
There we
all
go.
right. Look at this beautiful painting.
It's the problem.
Pretty
You
sure
blur
Da
yourself.
Vinci made that.
You blur yourself
No,
in meetings.
no. I let him know. I'm an artistic guy. Uh,
Your chromosome guy. What'd you
oh,
say?
yeah. Huh?
What'd you say?
I'm just an artistic guy.
I'm sorry. I thought you said autistic. My bad.
You would think that. You're such a piece of shit. Anyways, let's talk the first signing, the biggest signing, Mr.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
to
Let's
Atlanta.
give out some of the biggest signings that we think.
That was I feel like
That's
that
got
was
to
the
be the
biggest
biggest.
shock. Yeah.
We'll do a little draft.
They paid him so much money, and literally, was it 1 or 2 years ago, they had the chance to sign Lamar for basically the exact same money.
I think it was Deshaun. Or no, that was trading for Deshaun.
It was
Yeah,
Lamar
no,
for 200.
but it's basically the same. And Kirk is coming off of an Achilles injury. And the reason that they didn't sign Lamar is because he's injury prone. But they're signing a 35-year-old quarterback to a huge deal that he's going to play out through his age 39 season. And typically, like, quarterbacks don't do that unless they're Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. What are you doing over there, Maynard?
Doing.
Your boyfriend
Fixing
over
some
there?
wires.
Okay.
Sorry. I was fixing some wires.
Uh, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's more about like the new regime came in and they're trying to emulate the Sean McVay offense. That's why they didn't go with Justin Fields, because I personally was thinking they would go with Fields because they could play him this year, and if he doesn't work out, they still have all the skill positions, and then they can just draft their guy in the next year and not pay him that much. But now they're in a shitty division and they could go win it this year. I mean, they're competing against the Bake Show now.
No, they're going to be a lot better, and it is a good signing. It's just I don't know if I necessarily like they're going all in on Kirk Cousins basically. Like you're paying a dude $40 million a year to go play with a team that has a lot of offensive weapons. Their defense got a lot better last year, but it feels like if they wanted to go like you were just saying, a different direction with a little less risk, but they're kind of they went for it. So We'll see if it pays off. Like, Kirk is a good quarterback, and they do have weapons on the offense, like Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They've got dudes. They're going to be a decent team, but just like, do we really think Atlanta is going to compete for even an NFC championship in the next 2 or 3 years? I don't really think so,
CJ
but we'll
Stroud.
see.
With CJ Stroud making it in the playoffs with that kind of team and a new coach, I think there's a chance. And I didn't know this about Atlanta, but they have a top 5 offensive line according to PFF.
Oh, they've
So
got like
I know
weapons.
that.
They're going for it. They think Kirk is the missing piece to this team, and they could be right, but I don't know. It's super risky because they could have gone a couple of different ways, whether it be the draft or trading for Justin Fields. That is a lot less risky.
Yeah, Maynard. If you're GM of the Atlanta Falcons, what are you doing? You doing the same type of deal, or what are you doing?
I don't know why Atlanta needed a quarterback, and I just never thought Kirk Cousins and Atlanta would match. Like it doesn't seem like it would work, but their defense wasn't horrible last year, and they honestly have like really good weapons, like Ryan said, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London,
All top 10
and
picks.
yeah, I mean
All
still like we've seen
crazy.
top 10 first round picks be horrible. I mean we've all seen it. So I mean, all those guys are like certified dudes, and then you get Kirk Cousins. Like, think about the last few like quarterbacks they've had.
Matt
Just
Ryan,
Marcus
though,
Mariota. I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins like really that different.
kind of similar. Yeah, I know. I
And
was
they
just
went to
thinking
a
about
Super
that.
Bowl with Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm not saying Drake London's like Julio Jones, but when you're in a horrible division, if they could win the division, maybe be like a 3 seed because they have to play their division, 6 times. Why not? Like at least bring some kind of winning culture to there. I feel like Atlanta's just been an afterthought for years, but Kirk Cousins, even though he'll be 39 at the end of his contract, will at least bring relevancy and make that division a little bit more competitive. That's what I hated
yeah.
last year. Was like watching that and realizing like one of these teams is going to be in the playoffs and just absolutely not deserve it. I mean, Tampa Bay did win the playoff game, but still, it wasn't a fun division to watch. At least Atlanta versus Tampa Bay will at least be kind of fun whenever they're on TV because they weren't fun last year.
Can we
No.
talk about that contract? What do you guys think about Tampa giving Baker like I think it was 120 million over 3 years? It's basically like 33 and a half. What was it,
100,
110?
100 million,
Oh, 100 million.
100 flat.
Yeah, that's a pretty big contract for Baker. Like he played well last year, but I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
I think
I kind of think he deserves it. I mean, he went to Cleveland, won them a playoff game for the first time in God knows how long. Then they let go of him to get Deshaun Watson. They've sucked since they've got Deshaun Watson. Then he went to Tampa. Everyone thought they were going to suck again, and they ended up going like beating the Eagles in the playoffs. I mean, he may not be a top quarterback. 33 million a year is
Yeah.
not that like crazy when you think about the top quarterbacks getting paid 50 to 35. That's 17 million in cap you can use somewhere else. And what other
It was
quarterback are they
3
going to go
years
get?
though. It's a long deal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but he's a winner.
isn't it like 2 years and then technically not the third year? Isn't that
Is
how it
it?
works?
I didn't look into the contracts in NFL are so long and stupid and confusing.
They restructure all of them. I don't
Yeah.
I
know.
know it wasn't too much guaranteed money. It was only like 50 guaranteed. So maybe they can like cut him that third
Yeah,
year.
I mean,
Whatever.
$50 million guaranteed. That's just not even life changing money. What are you gonna do with that? You can't even buy a car.
The way I see it is like it's like two ways you can go about it. You can not have a quarterback and just play Kyle Trask and see if you got a guy and your team's just going to suck and your culture's going to suck and everything's going to go downhill. Or you kind of like stable the ship and you bring a guy in that's going to at least have a good attitude. They loved him last year. I don't know. It's like two different ways. I like go back
Yeah.
and forth with it. Like, hell, look at the Patriots right now. They've done a terrible job after Tom Brady. The Bucks have done a better job than them.
Yeah.
And going into it, we would have said Patriots are a better run organization than the Bucks.
They killed Mac Jones's career. Absolutely
Spe-
killed it.
By the way, speaking of that, in our last episode, when we did our predictions of 1 through 10 on the picks. I was against Jaden Daniels at 3. I was definitely dead wrong because I think like a day or two after we recorded, they came out and traded him for a 6th round pick. That's like basically nothing for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean that's another. What do y'all think about that? Like bringing in Mac Jones as your backup? Like
Who cares?
usually you go bring in like a veteran guy.
I mean,
Doesn't
he's
matter.
been in the playoffs. I don't think he's horrible. I think he could start on some teams. I mean, I think he's better than Zach Wilson. He's still on the team.
No, he's not. No, he's
There
not.
is no way you are still going to defend Zach. He is
I
like the
will.
worst.
No, he has had.
I'd rather have Desmond Ritter. I mean, I'd rather have
But hey,
who else? Marcus
Desmond
Mariota.
Ritter? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
That's a conversation. Marcus Mariota is a conversation because he's a veteran.
No,
Don't be
it's
saying
not.
Desmond
Marcus
Ritter.
Mariota is so much
Desmond
better than
Ritter
Zach Wilson.
had all these
No,
weapons.
How can a quarterback be benched 3 times in 2 seasons? It's
Okay,
insane.
let's rank the top worst quarterbacks.
He got benched by like that CJ
Let's talk about
Streeter
the
guy a couple
top.
years ago on Thanksgiving. I don't
Who's
even know
got the
who he
worst
is.
quarterback
I don't think he's in the
situation? Is it
NFL
Mac Jones
anymore,
or
and they would
Zach
rather
Wilson?
have
That's
him
basically
over Zach
what's
Wilson.
happened.
No, Zach Wilson will never. He will never start another game in the NFL unless every other quarterback probably breaks his leg or like dies by a comet hitting the earth, and
Hey,
he
we
somehow
probably thought the same
survives.
thing with Baker Mayfield. So, and
No, we didn't think the same thing with Baker
$100
Mayfield.
million.
No,
Look
we
at
did
it.
not think the same thing with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield went to the playoffs. Baker Mayfield won a game in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield showed glimpses of success. Zach Wilson, his biggest highlight is his pro day at his college where he flicked the ball 60 yards against no defense and no pads.
I just can't argue with a guy that just doesn't have. You probably look for people that grit their teeth when they throw, don't you?
No, Zach Wilson. I look for guys who are accurate when they throw. I look for guys who hit the target. Did they test Zach Wilson for color blindness when they were
I
going
will
through the
not.
pre-draft process? Because he throws it to the other team like way too often for me not
We
to
talk
believe
about situations like it is all about situation when you get drafted by a team. Like if JJ
Yeah,
McCarthy,
no, a lot of it is for sure.
and I think that the Jets were one of the worst run jobs, besides maybe Mac Jones.
I agree.
Because he had the defensive coordinator as his OC. That's my whole take about this, and I think he has great fundamentals. And Aaron Rodgers could have murdered the guy, but they kept
Okay,
him on.
but so we're talking about situations. We're comparing Mac Jones to Zach Wilson.
Mac Jones
All right,
is definitely better than Zach Wilson.
Mac
Desmond Ritter
Jones-
is not. Desmond Ritter is ass. Desmond Ritter is horrible.
They're
He had
both 2 of the
weapons.
bottom quarterbacks in the league.
No,
For
Desmond
sure.
Ritter is horrible.
Okay,
I mean, so
let
is
me
Zach
ask you,
Wilson, but
So wait,
Mac
wait,
Jones
wait,
is
we talk
Mac
we
Jones
talk
is
about
definitely better.
bad situations. But we all agree Garrett Wilson is a young star of a wide receiver. Or is that correct or not correct, Zachary?
Yeah, I think he's good. Yes, he
The
is
Jets
good.
defense is probably top 3 in the NFL. Is that correct or not correct, Zachary?
Yes.
Brees Hall is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Correct
Okay.
or incorrect?
I don't know, top backs. I mean, running backs just grow on trees nowadays. But
Yeah.
okay, can I
But
get
has he been good?
He wasn't
Can I-
very good in the first
I
half
have
of the
to push back?
season.
Can I ask
This
you
He was
past year.
injured. So what we're saying, we have a good wide receiver, elite defense, and an above average running back.
Yes.
That's-
On paper, it looks good. We can have that conversation. Nathaniel Hackett, is he a good OC?
I'm not talking about Nathaniel Hackett
No, I know, but that's his offensive
because he
coach.
was before
That's his
Nathaniel
offensive
Hackett
coach.
got there. He sucked.
Okay,
too.
but Zach, he's been given so many chances. Like, I
Yeah.
agree with you. It's all about the situation. But he's been given so many different chances and so many different like scenarios. Like, he got the chance as a rookie. He got the chance after Rodgers got hurt. Like, he got to learn from like it's not like he just got thrown into a situation like Justin Fields and he had to figure it out himself. And Justin Fields was successful. Like, he got his team
that's a
to
bad
6 wins. Like,
situation.
that's a bad situation, but you can still see the glimmer of hope in the quarterback. With Zach Wilson, it's like, dude, you've been given so many opportunities. I don't think you're going to figure it out. And maybe he does, because I've thought the same thing about Darnold. Like, he was horrible on the Jets. He went to the Panthers. He was horrible. And now it looks like the Vikings are looking at him. So who knows? Like, maybe he figures it out on a different team. But with the Jets, there is a 0% chance that he's successful. And it's so rare for a quarterback to
I'm
be
not selling
unsuccessful their entire rookie contract and then go to a different team
So
and like find
unsuccessful.
success at a quarterback. It's impossible. It's like he's followed the line of Trubisky, or no, not a Trubisky. Who's Peterman? That guy that threw like 5 interceptions in a game for the
Oh,
Bears.
Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, he's just incompetent. Zach, I'm sorry.
I'm not selling my property on Zach Wilson Island. You're not going to get me.
You
I will
can't
buy
sell it. The
I-
value's zero.
It's
It's zero. No
it
one will
doesn't
take it.
cost anything.
Yeah.
You have to pay me.
You
I can't
might
wait.
be the sole owner of his stock.
Okay, whenever we talk about Chicago, like Justin Fields, if Justin Fields was in a New York Jets uniform, I think there's a difference between like if you wear the star, if you live in New York, like
Oh my
there's
God.
definitely media, definitely like bigger hype to it.
That's fair, but like at the end of the day, it
Yeah,
is what it is.
That's all my points were.
Yeah, okay.
If you
well,
can't handle it, the only difference is like media attention, though. If you can't handle that, then you're not able to handle the quarterback position because that
yeah,
Maybe
you're
quarterback
the face
position
of the
is that.
franchise.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna find a team for this fucker to go to, and I can't wait.
You find a
Who
team.
will he ever play
Go-
for? Can you
go-
imagine
hey,
a team in the NFL in the
going
next
right now.
5 years that
Start
he
the
can
Start
next
looking
coach?
at the USFL. All right, stop looking at Division II. Okay,
They're gonna have to
I-
make expansion teams for him to play anywhere else.
and probably about 30 expansion teams too. You're gonna have to go to like a Chinese team. What? Well, while you're looking at that, Zach or Ryan, I wanted to talk to you about your boy Tony Pollard leaving for Tennessee. Were you?
Good riddance.
I'm kind of sad for y'all. Y'all were like, he was hyped up so much going into last year. Like he's gonna be the lead back now. He had so many like yards per carry behind Ezekiel Elliott, and then he just did not perform.
Yeah, he didn't perform, so why would we re-sign him? I agree with you. Like he was hyped up, and I mean the NFL is different now. It's all about the 1-2 punch. Like I don't think there's ever going to be another season in the NFL where we see like Todd Gurley, or aside from like the Derrick Henrys of the world, there's gonna be like 2 or 3 backs in the NFL that can put together 1,500 yards in a season. But there's never gonna be an 1,800 yard rushing season again. Like it's all about just having fresh legs, having backs that can do multiple things. You don't want just one. Like I just don't see it happening. So I think the Titans overpaid for Pollard. He was unsuccessful as the lone back last year in Dallas. He'll be able to pair up with Tajee Spears, and the issue is they have similar skill sets. Like they're similar size.
Yeah.
It was a nice 1-2 punch with the Titans with Derrick Henry and Tajee Spears, but like they kind of do the same thing. Neither of them is probably a great pass blocker. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad he's gone. It's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys do, though. Do we spend money on somebody like Derrick Henry? Because at this point, most of the other free agent backs are gone. Or do we go get somebody cheap, like a Damian Harris? He spent last year in Buffalo and did like nothing. He'd be like $1 million.
I will just
Or do we go draft a guy? But what I've been hearing is because the running back like free agency has been so crazy today, is that people don't really trust like what's in the draft class. So I don't know. Cowboys are in a tough spot.
I will say I am
That-
glad. Oh, go ahead, Zach. You probably want to talk about Tony Pollard.
I was gonna say the Tony Pollard hype. It was said by a lot of people, but I remember like us talking about it like we were very hesitant about giving him all the snaps because he wasn't big. Like we watched him a lot. He was perfect on like the second down runs where he break for 35 yards, but then have Zeke just ground and pound. So I mean, sad to see him leave. I thought he would stay for a good amount longer, but after that Pat McAfee, there was a little disconnect. It seemed like when he didn't even know Dan Quinn was fired or hired for the Commander's job.
He was never coming back.
Yeah, but go ahead, man.
Speaking of running backs, I did want to ask y'all's thoughts on the Chargers getting Gus Edwards.
It's not exciting.
No, I do think it fits more of what Jim Harbaugh like wants, the ground and pound, run in between the tackles kind of running back. Gus Edwards not bad. He's just never been. I don't think he's even gonna be the lead back. but he's never been the lead back in his career. He's always behind
Gets
J.K.
hurt a
Dobbins.
lot too.
He does get hurt a lot, but Baltimore just hurts their running backs. I don't know how. I don't know what drills they
I'd
run.
say I'd be hesitant grabbing any of the Baltimore running backs or help players besides Lamar.
Zach, you sound like you're
They
talking over a
just they're
subway
fragile. It
station.
seems like.
Ryan, did you catch any of that?
I caught some of it.
He's frozen to me.
He's frozen. Yeah, he's frozen here. I can
Anyways,
hear him, hear his background, but I
welcome
don't know,
to the
Maynard.
Will
Like,
and
you're still
Ryan
gonna have to
show.
sign somebody. He's basically Josh Kelly,
Yeah,
but he's
no,
done
I
it before.
agree.
Like, it's not something special. Like, you're gonna have to go get another running back, whether it's
I-
draft or free agency.
I'm just glad though that we're getting a different kind of running back.
No,
Like,
he's
Austin
cool.
Eckler
I
is not
think
a
he's
between
the
the tackles guy.
I think he's the all-time leading rusher for the Ravens, or he's like top 3 at least. Like, no, it's crazy. He's done it for
That's
just,
so weird.
I know it's weird. Or maybe it's touchdowns. Like, he has a leading statistic for the Ravens. I think it's rushing yards. Yeah, you're gonna have to find somebody else. It's not like he's gonna rush for 1,200 yards next season for you guys. And you've
No, I
had
don't.
Austin Eckler doing both pass catching responsibilities and rushing the ball for the past couple of years.
I think the whole throw it to the running back is over in LA. I hope
Might
at
cut
least.
Keenan.
I don't know. I think we're looking to trade. They said that they want to trade 2 out of the 4 players. Those 4 players be Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Mike Williams, and Keenan. I feel like Keenan's the most safe out of those, just because he's been healthier than Mike, and he's like, it's kind of like that. You have a little bit of loyalty, but it's loyalty plus he's been good still. I mean, he still broke 1,000 yards, I think, last season. So if Keenan leaves, it's going to be a sad day. I might come on here and cry a little bit. Sad boy hours. But I feel like it's more likely going to be Joey Bosa and Mike Will that are traded.
Are y'all gonna
What was-
draft a receiver this year? Y'all gotta figure that out.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be either. I think it's going to be. It's still leaning towards Brock Bowers as our
Well,
pick
not in the first
because-
round, but like, do you think
Oh,
y'all are
yeah.
gonna go get somebody in free agency or spend like a high draft pick?
Yeah, I think. I mean, like, I think a second round pick possibly. Like, I don't think we're going to go in with Quentin Johnston and be like, "Yep, that's our number 2 guy, the guy that
Yeah,
cannot
because he was a
catch."
bust. Mike is probably gonna get cut, and then
Yeah.
you have Keenan, who's like 33.
We still have
So
Josh
he may or
Palmer.
may not. Yeah, but
He's okay. He's okay. I'm
not
saying like
great.
he's gonna be a wide receiver 3. He's just not nobody. But no, I agree. We'll find somebody. But speaking of wide receivers in the trade block, T. Higgins announced he wanted to be traded, and I had a trade idea that I wanted to run by you guys.
They're not going to agree to any. I don't think they're going to agree to any of it. To like
think they
whatever
will.
people offer. He's just going to sign the
Um,
franchise.
No, he's already got signed.
He's
he
on
got
the
tagged.
franchise tag. That's
Yeah,
why
he
you
got
trade him.
tagged, and he says I still want to get traded.
No, I know. I just see no teams like offering anything that Bengals be like, yeah, we're going to do that. They should have traded him last year.
I think on draft night, I'm calling my shot right here. On draft night, the Bears will draft Caleb Williams, and if Rome Odunze and Marvin Harrison are gone by pick 9, they will trade the 9th overall pick for T. Higgins and like a 6th.
Is that too high? That's too
That
high.
is way too high.
What? I mean, would you take T. Higgins or Malik Neighbors?
Malik Neighbors. I don't
Malik
want to.
Neighbors, because you don't have to pay him $30 million a year for the next 4 years.
I think they would come to a contract extension at the end of the season. But
No,
like,
they
you
would
still get
sign
Caleb-
immediately.
I see.
He's on a franchise tag.
He's a 2
But-
to
You
me.
don't trade a 9. You don't trade the 9 pick for somebody you don't have on a contract. You'd have to have a contract in place before you
No,
trade
I think they still get the franchise tag contract.
Yeah,
then
I
they
know,
would do
but
an
it's 1 year.
extensions.
The way they do it is they talk to the guy before, make sure there's a contract in place, then they do the trade. That way they don't make sure they're trading a guy for 1 year.
I'm just saying
doesn't
the
wanna play in that
combo
city.
of DJ Moore and T. Higgins sounds pretty nice to me.
What do you think of T. Higgins? Like, is he a 1 or 2 to you?
T. Higgins he's been the best 2 out there for the last couple years. I think he can be a 1. I think if he went to Chicago, he'd be a 1A, 1B with DJ Moore.
I see what you're saying. I would just rather draft a guy and let him learn underneath Caleb.
I mean, Chicago is not really known for drafting great wide receivers.
They're not known for drafting.
Evan White, bro.
Yeah, didn't he? No, that was Kelvin Benjamin that ate his way out of the league.
No,
Rest in
Kevin White
peace.
just didn't play. I think he just kept getting
Yeah.
hurt.
All I'm saying, you can get it for a known commodity, and you already have the number 1 overall pick. You still get your quarterback. You could, and
I think
I
they
mean,
could
if
maybe get him for like a second or third, right? Not a ninth pick.
maybe. Oh, well, I was thinking they give T Higgins and they give a draft pick, so it could be T Higgins and a third. Like, obviously, I'm not saying it's a 1-for-1 thing, the ninth and T, but if you give it T and a third for the ninth pick, say they go now you give Cincinnati a high draft pick. I feel like that would make sense for them to do.
Hey, I got a team that would trade. I'm gonna pick. Ryan, you pick one too. Who's gonna trade their first round pick for T? Because I think he goes for first, but I'm gonna go the 29th pick with Detroit. I think they go get T Higgins.
There's no way he goes for a first.
I'm gonna go
What
T.
you don't like T?
No, it's not that I don't like T, but you look at wide receivers that have been traded over the past couple of years, and none of them have been traded for first, and they've been on contracts. Like you look at the worst case scenarios, and it's like Amari for fifths, but that you still look at like a DJ Moore, and I think he went for like a second or a third or something like that. It was a package, but like T Higgins isn't going to go for a first on a 1-year deal.
But do you not think that wide receivers are just getting valued more and more every year?
But T Higgins isn't that much better. I don't think he's any better than DJ Moore. I prefer DJ Moore over T Higgins. Just I don't think he's worth a first. At
One of
all.
these episodes, I'm gonna cook up a Would You Rather with T Higgins, and I'm gonna see where exactly you got
He's
him.
a
Then
good two, but I don't think he's a one at all.
he's the
Like he's
best.
never
two.
had over. Yeah, he's a really good two, but he's never had
The
over
best.
like probably 70 catches in a season. No, Jalen Waddle's better.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith's also better. Jalen
Okay.
Waddle's definitely better.
I'm thinking of twos right now. Like Calvin really.
T
came-
Higgins has had 2 seasons back to back over 70 catches.
Oh, really? Like 70.
You
Right at
must feel
70 though?
dumb. 74 and 74.
Okay,
And
but
then
he's
the
not
year before
like
that,
100.
he had
But that's the
67.
point. My point is that he's not 100 a catch a year guy.
How
Maybe
many
he
guys are
is.
100 catch a year guys? I'm gonna say he's getting 74
10 dudes.
off being the 2 to Jamar Chase. And he's one of the best jump ball receivers.
Okay. Anyways, wherever we think about T Higgins, if they lose him, what do we think about the Bengals?
I think they're screwed either way.
They have to spend. They're gonna have to spend some draft picks on like offense, like weapons, because Joe Mixon's done. Tyler Boyd's getting old. Like they've got to figure it out. They don't have a tight end.
Let's see. How many guys do you think had over 100 catches this year?
6.
5.
It's close.
So, oh wait, no, there's more than that actually. I lied. There's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's 12. Jamar Chase was on 100 flat. He's the lowest of all the 100 receiver, 100 catches.
Just don't.
Holy crap, dude! Evan Ingram had 114.
I think he had. It was either the most or the second most by a tight end in a season ever.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
I think he was one
and he
of the
didn't even have
wide-
that many yards. It was like barely over 1,000 if he even got
Let's
there.
see. He had 963.
Yeah,
Everyone else around him was like at 1,500, 1,200.
but it was like the second most receptions by a tight end ever in a season, I think.
That is insane. Dude, Adam Thielen broke 100. Okay, so breaking 100 does not mean you're just the guy. Adam Thielen broke 100.
He's the best receiver on that team. He was the one receiver on that team.
He was
And if
forced
you're,
that
like-
with a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah, I know.
team, like Jamar
But it
was
was-
out. All they had to do was throw the ball to T.
72
Yeah,
catches.
T
He's not a
was hurt.
1.
He was also hurt this year. Like, we're missing that. And Jamar Chase missed 1 game.
Well, let's go to the next guy, Saquon. Do you guys agree that this was a dumb move by the Eagles, or where you guys stand on this?
Dumb moves by the Eagles, great move by Saquon. Go over one of the best offensive lines after being behind one of the worst. I will say, whenever a team signs with a division rival, he just feels like he's public enemy number one. Like I lost a little bit of respect for Saquon going to Philly, and Tiki Barber said that he was dead. That Saquon is dead to him now. I thought that was hilarious, but I don't know
I don't
what
know.
Philly needs. Like Philly felt like a team that needed a new coaching staff. So any moves they made don't feel like they're going to be a needle mover for me.
Is he a top 3 running back for you guys though, when healthy?
Yeah.
Think about what
Uh,
the 49ers just did with Christian McCaffrey and how much that moved the needle. I don't think it's that dumb of a move. If it doesn't work out, of course it's dumb, but think about how much that trade that they made for Christian McCaffrey moved the needle. Like when you
are we
have a
like
competent running back and behind that offensive line,
I
can
just
can I name I think three guys who are better than him going into next year? Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and Nick Chubb. I feel like we all forgot about Nick Chubb because he was hurt this
Chubb
year.
coming off injury for sure.
like
But he's
Chubb
not
coming
coming
off
off
it. What
injury.
about and then Jonathan Taylor? He only played 10 games this year, but
He's
finished with
nice.
750 yards. Alvin Kamara. I would think. I mean, Alvin. You don't think Alvin Kamara and him are
No,
like?
Saquon's like that
Saquon's
hybrid where
better.
he can power and he can catch out of the backfield. He's like that Christian McCaffrey 1B or 2B, whatever you want to say.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's probably the name that was closest, but I would definitely say those other guys are just
Yeah.
as good, if not better. CMC, Bijan,
Bijan
could
has
ever,
potential
if
for
he's gonna
sure.
get enough carries. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
it feels like they barely used him.
I just
My
think
point is that like making a trade like that rarely works out, but we saw how well it worked out for the 49ers. I think for the most part, like spending money on a running back is a dumb idea, but it has worked out in very recent memory. So we'll see. And they have like an offense that their team is built around the run. Like it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Saquon's gonna be great on the Eagles, but like, does it push like the needle for you for the Eagles? Like, they now
For me, it
jump to be
does.
I think
like
their problem
to
was
what? Are they a top 3 team now? Are they a top 2 team? Are they the top team?
I s- I don't I saw their problems being leaders. Like they just lost 2 key leaders and then they went to shit whenever like things got bad. And Jalen Hurts didn't look the same since their OC left. Like it just seems like they weren't missing like talent. They were missing I mean talent on the back seven, yeah. They were terrible on defense. And they lost the biggest leaders of Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox.
They have a culture problem and they lost like their 2 biggest leaders. So
Yeah.
But I
But
think
so
even if they had those leaders, like those leaders there last year, we said they had a culture problem. Is that culture problem not like Nick Sirianni?
probably, yeah.
Like he doesn't
yeah, but
seem
this
like
just
the guy.
amplifies
The
it.
They also draft so well. Like they have dudes that didn't
Georgia
play
player. They
all
draft
last
Georgia.
year.
They just draft
They
Georgia.
have, who do
it
they have
works.
on their, who's the D tackle? Jordan Davis. And then
Yeah.
don't they have like Nolan Smith too?
Yep.
They have those dudes like they played a little bit last year. I think Nolan Smith less, but those dudes are going to be able to step into significant roles this next year. So Eagles are going to be better than they were this past year. I think they took a step this this past year. And they'll be better.
Yeah. Can I throw out one more name before we end it? Because I feel like this is a weird one. It's more like 2-for-1. The Packers signing Josh Jacobs and then releasing Aaron Jones.
A 4-year, $48 million deal.
Ooh,
Yeah. I just
12
don't. I
years.
it's
just.
4 for 48. That's
I,
weird.
I love Josh Jacobs. I was hoping the Chargers somehow was able to trade enough draft capital to, or not, or just tax capital, whatever, to get him. But he's good. But is he good enough to like release Josh Jacobs or release Aaron Jones?
He's always hurt.
But when he's on the field, he's so good.
I thought they were going to keep the 2 of them together because they signed Josh Jacobs before they released him. And I thought the plan was to move on from AJ Dillon and have the 2 of them be like a 1-2 punch. And I thought that was a fairly smart move. Probably
Yeah.
not at 48 million, obviously why they released him, but Josh Jacobs is a better running back. He's younger and he hasn't been hurt as much, so
No.
it's just a lot of money.
There, I got one more before we go. I guess Maynard had the last question. Who are the biggest losers for y'all today? Mine would be the Texans for not getting the Saquon sweepstakes.
They're gonna
Mine,
go get what's his name from Green Bay.
I just think whenever you have when you're not
Aaron
paying a
Jones,
quarterback, go
yes.
pay like these people that you normally can't. That's my thinking. But
I
what
think
team?
their bigger need was more receiver than running back. But I do see your point. My biggest loser was Chicago. Zach, you were texting about it earlier. That trade market dried up so quickly with Russ signing a $1 million deal with the Steelers and then Kirk going to Atlanta. I guess you can call up Minnesota and try and get Justin Fields to Minnesota, but it felt like Atlanta and Pittsburgh were the two leaders to get the trade done.
Did you hear that report that they were looking at Trey Lance from the Cowboys, Ryan? Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, that
I
was
love that.
weird.
Give us a
Who was
second.
looking?
Minnesota. Like
Him
if
and Sam Darnold, so that tells you about what their plans are for next year. Justin
Oh.
Jefferson traded incoming.
or just not re-signing and just fuck it, I'm gonna go sign somewhere else in the free agent.
Oh, that's right. He
He's
hasn't
gonna be
re-signed yet.
pissed. He's gonna be pissed if they do
Yeah.
that.
Does it
All
work
right.
like the NBA where you get more money from the team that you re-sign with?
I don't think so.
No idea. But here, Ron, give your loser real quick.
I don't have a big one. As a Cowboys fan, I'll just go Cowboys. Didn't make any big signings today, and then we had a couple dudes get poached from us. Tony Pollard gone. Tyler Biotish went to the Commanders, and so did Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance Armstrong got a really big deal. Do you remember what it is, Zach?
Like 48 or 50.
Yeah, he got paid, but he's had like 7.5 sacks and 8.5 sacks in a super limited role. But yeah, Cowboys just because they didn't do much, and Jerry Jones promised that this was going to be a change in off season, but
All
it's
in.
not going to be.
All in.
And
All right.
We have to do
Well,
Dak or a CD.
and- All right. Hey, we gotta do the outro here. Until next time.
Fucking dad over here.
Peace. Kiss my ass.
peace.